First bit of progress I made this month was to be able to put up backdrops that will hide the staging yard. All I used was 1x2s, they're about 9 inches long, and then screw them into the side of the bracing, and then also I'm working on screwing them into the plywood here for the supports, and I'm coming through with 7-inch hardboard that will become the backdrop of it, and that's just enough to my tiptoes. It will hide the trains over there, but it's very easy for me to reach in if there is a derailment or anything. And you can see here's the view of the staging yard back there hidden behind. And then that was the first piece I put in, and currently I'm working on the second piece that will start coming around the curve before I continue around into the peninsula. Over the next couple days, I finished a little more of the hardboard section, and then I started looking at the layout for Barberton Yard. Just a quick rough sketch what it might look like. And then I also put cork roadbed down for the main line that's going to traverse across the scene. There's not a ton of space against the backdrop for the main line, but I'd rather have it closer there as opposed to my cars up in front here, possibly going off of the layout. So I have that glued in right now, and then I just have thumbtacks pushed into the plywood that will keep it secure while the caulk is drying. I've yet to get to the last Tortoise switch machine here. I'll get it sooner than later, but I was wanting to test out how the tracks may look once I get everything complete. Here I was able to add a few more sections of hardboard, and then also cut a little bit of the roadbed or sub roadbed for the tracks. As you can see, this is going to be the switch that leads into Barberton Yard from the Newcastle main line. And then I also have this backdrop here covered. And then I also worked on my electronics. So I now have an SB5 that's gonna give me 5 amps of power. That goes to terminal strips, then break it off into 4 different circuit breakers. This one on the left is gonna be for the whole staging yard and main line near the door. This one here is gonna be for Barberton Yard and everything up to Lambert to a Shulman's gonna have one, and then I'll have another one directly just for the Tortoise switch machines. One of the things I'm super disappointed about is that I plugged this in and this power supply has some issues. I'm gonna insert the video right now. But listening to that, I do not think a power supply should sound like that. So I'm not gonna use it. I'm gonna reach out to NCE and see what they can do to help me out. It's been a few days, but the main line for the Newcastle sub has been glued down in place over the cork roadbed. I was able to get the turnout placed that goes into Barberton Yard. And then I even got the slope down to the plywood that Barberton Yard is gonna be on. So I glued this down, and then I took a belt sander well, I guess not belt sander, it would be one of those cobalt battery operated sanders to create a nice even gradient down that transitions smoothly. Now this track in the background is the main line that will go around, and then it'll lead to this switch here, which will take part of Jones Chemical Facility, yet to be put in. And then I'm just starting to put down some of the first tracks for Barberton Yard. I glued those down about 5-10 minutes ago. So beyond the track work that's being done, I've also now installed 7 Tortoise switch machines. I have an NCE Switch 8 here that houses the controls for it, and then just a temporary circuit that connects us to my DCC bus. Pretty soon this is going to get its own DCC bus that will go to one of those circuit breakers. But for them here, these are the 3 to the staging, well, 2 to the staging yard, and then that one there is the main line versus the staging yard. And then this one over here is for Barberton Yard. It's really cool that I can run JMRI on my phone and control all these switches from my phone. And then you can see this here is an Ethernet cable, and this will take me to the other side of the layout for the other turnouts. So here is the NCE switch 8, and then all the way around is the Ethernet cable. And we come to this side, which is gonna be these 2 Tortoise switch machines are for the staging yard. And then this is going to control the main line to the staging yard. And then I have Ethernet cable that's just 2 terminal strips. And that way I can have one cable running all the way across and to be able to combine everything all into one wire to make it easy. I did forget to add, here is a button board. At some point, my goal is to put push buttons on the fascia that will be able to toggle these turnouts, but that's gonna be in the future. I just have it set up right now. I'm perfectly happy with doing it on my phone or with the accessories on my NCE controller or macros that I'm starting to program. This is gonna wrap up the last little bit of the update for December 2025. I have been fiddling around with how I want the tracks to be positioned over to the west of Barberton Yard. Continental Carbon's gonna go behind where the soup cans are. PPG and the silica products are gonna be over here. And then the rest of PPG Industries and the chemical tank cars are gonna be over here. So that's how I think it's gonna line up. And then I was playing around a little bit more with the track arrangements. I had a couple cars to check some of my spacing. And then in this monstrosity here is the Trackwork for Barberton Yard, which has been caulked down and is currently drying. I found that soup cans, bean cans are some of the best things to use to be able to keep weight and pressure until the caulk dries. So with that, that's gonna wrap up December 2025's layout. I hope everyone had a really good Christmas, New Year's, as this probably get posted after the new year, and excited to see what I can accomplish next year.